Hi, welcome back. My name is Katrina Engeldrum and I am Montana Office of Public Instruction's Math Instructional Coordinator. That means that I get to bring rich resources and activities to teachers across Montana to help them see the results they need in their classrooms to improve student learning. One of the tasks I'd like to share this month is the 3-act math tasks. Now, these may be familiar to some of you, but for those of you that it's not familiar to, I'd like to give you a little bit of a background. These types of tasks were developed by Dan Meyer, John Orr, and many others, and they basically give students an opportunity to slowly consider what is happening in a context. So these are all problem-based, realistic context kind of modeling tasks where we slowly reveal information and eventually get students to generate an answer. This obviously is going to require students to use a lot of critical thinking. We're going to see a lot of mathematical practices coming into play. And what's beautiful is that they do have these tasks organized by the Common Core content standards, which are not Montana's content standards, but we do have a helpful resource to help you bridge the connection and find where the overlap is at if you look in your appendix for the new standards. We're not going to spend a ton of time on that. If you need help with that, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'm happy to send you that resource I just referenced. I will also include it in the link down below. So, how do we use 3-act math tasks in our classroom? Well, like the name implies, there's 3 acts or components to these tasks. The very first phase is a hook. Something that's a short video, draws students in, and begins to have them asking mathematical questions about what they're observing happening. Act 2 then requires some information being revealed. So we're going to start to give them some information that should then funnel down those questions or allow them to start considering what exactly is occurring with a little bit more information to go off of. During the 3rd act, we are going to reveal a final piece of information. We might reveal a strategy towards solving. We could reveal the answer itself and have students go back. And there's a lot of reflection in this part. Today I'm going to pick grade 4 just to get us started. What you'll notice about these is that they are often applicable to multiple grade levels, which is great, especially if you're one of those teachers who teaches multiple grades in the same classroom, or you have students at varying levels of ability. These tasks are designed to be accessible and to have multiple entry points for students, regardless of where they're at in their mathematical learning. The focus is really on giving as many students as possible in the classroom an opportunity to engage and make sense of mathematical thinking. So all of these have templates that you can usually download. There's lots of resources, but again, there's that Act 1 that I talked about, that hook. In this case, they're calling it the spark or curiosity piece. We would give students kind of a little bit of a visual. Sometimes these are videos, sometimes they're just pictures. It just depends on the context. And we're asking students usually to describe what they're noticing and wonder. Again, this can happen in a lot of different ways. You can have them journal, you can have them do a turn and talk, you can have them kind of reflect to themselves, and then like do a think, pair, share kind of style activity. So lots of different ways that you can mold this to fit the dynamics in your classroom. The next act always involves giving some more information. So as you can see in this picture, we want to know how many squares do you think it will take to cover the big square. So now we have a problem. We have a question that we want students to kind of start to engage with and problem solve. And then Act 3 is to see if it works. So this is where we would start to have students engage a little further. We might give them more information. We might give them more tools to start to apply this hands-on and really explore the context and the concept that we are employing. These often have multiple representations, and sometimes these happen over multiple days. each day, deepening and digging into more of that thinking. It provides a frame of reference for students, especially you'll notice in your classroom, kids that might have struggled a little more on day one begin to have more confidence as you go through multiple layers of this task or multiple days of this task. Something I will note that's essential to using these effectively in the classroom is having a safe space where students are used to having community and communicating about mathematics. So this isn't always the best thing to start on day one of school unless you are noticing that your kids have a natural penchant for communicating effectively and engaging correctly. Another tip that I would add is to have some kind of space where students can record their thinking. If you're noticing that your students are having a challenging time articulating their thinking, either written or verbally, things like sentence stems can be very effective in helping that. You can set up a sentence that says something to the effect of, I notice that, and then put a blank, and students can fill in the blank. Hopefully that provided you with some tasks that you can use in your classroom. Once again, this resource is called 3-Act Math Tasks. They are available for free, and there's a lot of resources to teach you how to use them. Hopefully I sparked your interest. Thanks so much for joining. See you next time.